Hello, hello everyone. It's Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. I'm here with a how-to video. We're going to assemble this charm set that I offer in my shop. Look at how cute this is. This is on the February folio, the Moving Parts February folio. So there's several charms available for this particular month, but this is the one that requires a little how-to. So let's go over the package. This is what you get when you order it from my shop, paperphenomenon.com. You get the petals. You get this is the stem, and then the stamen, leaves, red and green wax thread. It's like a sagey green, very beautiful color combination. And you also get the tube with the needles. All right, so yay. You get everything. You don't have to look for anything. You don't have to buy anything. The one thing I did differently is I inserted a brad in some of these as opposed to the sewing, because when you sew, you need to burn the little tips, kind of melt the wax off, and that makes me very nervous. So I didn't want to do that, so I went in with a brad. All right, so just so you know, if you're comfortable just kind of with a lighter, then you're golden. All right. So I decided to be a big girl about this and demo with a lighter. Don't try this at home, kids. I'm kidding. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you can thread your needle. Right, so whichever one you want to use, they're identical. Close that up. So this may take me an hour. It's not too bad. So thread your needle. All right, be careful with don't make a knot, all right, because you need all of this. You need most of this string, okay? Next, you're going to take one of your petals. There's a side that's a little more textured than, so this one is a little bit more pebbled than the other side. So the pebbled side is the outside. What you want to do is you're going to take this piece here, which would be your stem, and there's two legs. There's a long one and a short one. Doesn't matter which one you start with. I'm starting with the long one. You're going to feed it through the center hole. All right, right there. Then you're going to take one of these and you're going to feed it through as well. And doesn't matter right now how far down you go. Okay, so just right now, just chill. Just feed it through. All right, so these two pieces form your stamen. Now you're going to knot at the top. So make a knot and then bring it on up, right, as close as possible to the edge. You may want to go closer to the edge. And then that's what you should have. Okay, we've started. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your petal. Each petal has a set of holes or a series of holes. A set of 2 holes and a single hole. Right, you're going to overlap your petals to line up with a hole. All right, so you need your needle. If you feel like you need to secure your thread on the needle so you're not fussing with it, so go in really close at not too close, like about 1.5 inches in, because you need to tie this off. And I personally need room for tying. All right, do that, pull, and then your needle is secure, okay? Your thread is secure. All right, so needle is threaded. I went ahead and made a little knot there so it doesn't come out. And what you want to do now is examine your petal. You'll see that each petal has double hole, single hole, double hole, single hole. What you're going to do is overlap the petals from double hole to single, all right, or single to double. You're going to overlap onto the first hole. So single hole onto double, but you stop at the very first hole. Now you're left with two holes, one single and one overlap. All right, so single hole, overlap onto double hole. Now you have two holes, a single and an overlap. Now we thread. You go in, not from the back, from the inside, in the single, and then through the back into the layered hole. All right, pull. Leave yourself enough tail that you'll be able to tie, but you must be careful because you need enough thread for all of them, right? So, it's not going to be good for me. Then one more time. Careful it doesn't get all tangled up in here because it will. Nice and tight. And again. Careful you don't stab yourself. All right, and then you're going to tug and you're going to cut enough for you to make a little knot, right? Like so. I am being very generous with mine, guys. I'm not going to lie. Very generous. You need to go a little bit shorter. But I have giant fingers. I have more red thread that I can use. So I'm not too worried about it. Right, so double knot. You don't need a lot. And then I'm going to cut off the excess. I don't want to burn all of that. Just enough to burn the tail so that the wax sets everything in place. Okay? And it's a really fast process, so be careful. So just quick singe. Quick little singe of the whole thing. And done. And that's not going to come out because the wax does all the work for you. And then look, this is what it looks like on the other side. So you're going to keep on going. You're going to move over. That wasn't too hard. I don't know why I had so much worry about doing that, but I did. Now, I don't like playing with fire, especially when there's so much paper around. Now you're going to repeat the same process again. Sorry, I digress. You want to overlap the single hole onto the double, right? But single to single, right? So single hole. That didn't make any sense. Hold on. Of course, this is in my way. Hold, please. So you're overlapping single onto double, but you're overlapping onto the first hole. All right, so single onto double onto the first hole. You should have another hole there, and you're going to go in again. So you're going to go in on the single, right, onto the single, pull just enough that you can tie, right, and then to the overlap side. I have to do it like this so I don't make another hole. And you're going to pull that through carefully that you don't pull that one through. And then again through the single. And then through the overlap. Right, like so. And then again, one more time. So twice. Pull nice and tight. You can tie it with the needle in place, right? Because it's just kind of easier to do that, right? You cross it over. And then that way you can cut off what you need. So here's just another little tip. There's one. Because for me, I don't know what it is about my hands and my fingers. I feel like they're ginormous when I'm fiddling with little things. But it's easier when you do it with the needle. All right? Now, careful you don't do something like this. But still, you could just, pull and get it out of the way. How did I manage to make this huge knot here? Hold on. Let's try that again. One more time. I promise it's easy. I'm not very good with little things. All right, so now I'm going to go in here, cross to make my knot. I'm getting my string caught everywhere, so just keep your string out of the way and then you should be good. There we go, beautiful. Pull, pull, pull. Then you're going to snip, snip, snip. And then you're going to burn, burn, burn. And just try to get the little pieces of thread up so that you can burn them without burning your flowers or your finger. So there they are. See how they're sticking up there? So I'm going to carefully, whoop, singe. Is that the word? Singe. And again. Go. Kind of burned my flower there a little bit, so be careful. I can live with that though. And again, you're going to repeat the same process all over again. So overlap onto the single hole onto the double. So you overlap onto the first one. And then you sew from the second hole onto the layered hole. All right? There. Stop. And then second hole and then onto the single hole, right? And when you're pulling, just be careful that you leave a tail so that you can tie. It's really important, the tying portion. Otherwise, it will unravel. Careful that you don't go through the twine or the thread because it gets tangled. It'll get into a knot. And then you'll have a weird looking rose on the outside. All right, but still, nonetheless, easy peasy, guys. The toughest one is the last one, right? Because the last one, you really got to move the stamen and all that stuff. But what you can do is just pull it out like that, and that way you can really maneuver in there. Okay, so you can just pull it out. All right, so I'm going to tie this off. I'm going to finish this, and then I'll show you how to do the second portion. All right, so here's the first one done. Look at how cute. Super duper duper cute. And what I did, because I didn't burn mine, after I did the sewing, I put brads through in the overlap section. That's all I did different. All right, so look at how cute is that. Then you just repeat the same process. So, and I'll do it without inserting this. So simply all you're doing is, see the double hole? You're going to insert. Then you're going to go through the other double hole. You're in the double hole side. Put your needle through, and then you layer the single hole on the neighboring petal. All right? Layer the single hole on the neighboring petal, like so. Make sure you pull through enough. Remember, you need enough thread to, oopsie, this way. You need enough thread to do both flowers, okay? So be careful with how much you, whoopsie, then you pull through with how long your tail is, right, to make your knot. So then once you're confident in the amount of tail you have there, then you're going to tie it off. So you can do a couple of these without the stamen in there so you don't have to deal with it getting caught, tangled. Oh, sorry. You can do this a second time. I apologize. So now it's layered, right? So now you're going to go in through what would be the hole that has a little tail. Try not to get it stuck on the, to go through the thread that's already there, because sometimes it's a little hard to tighten. But I use my teeth because it's easier for me. All right, so just make sure it's nice and tight. That's key. If it's not tight, your flower is not going to assemble properly. Beautiful. I love that. So now, after you've done your second one, oops, don't cut. It's easier for me to tie with the needle. So you cross over, right? The way you would, like you're tying your shoelace. You make a knot. And then you burn. If you don't burn, it's going to come loose. Okay? It may get stuck on the other petals. It's okay. Just start again if you lost your way, like I did. I lost my way. Here we go. Let's try this again, Kathy. And then knot. Double knot. And again, you can use pliers, but I just put this little tail in my mouth and pull so that I know it's tight, because I can't do it with my hands. All right, so double knot. Easy peasy, right? Pull and cut off pretty close there, and then this one pretty close, because then you will be burning. All right, so it's easier to do a few like this, and then you can stick this part in. Where's my light? Oh, here we go. Watch, you can also use tweezers if you don't want to burn your fingers, right? There's all sorts of things you can do. Ow. I just felt a little bit of heat. I did not burn myself. I'm so dramatic. I'm quite dramatic. All right, so you can do another one. Just kind of play around with it and see how many you can do before you can't stick that, get in there really good. So I'm going to do one more with you guys. So double hole, whoopsie, double hole. All right, so I'm on the double hole side, and I'm going to put my needle through in the hole that's closest to the center, right? So not from the outside, from the inside. So in, enough tail, right, so that I can tie, and then through the neighboring double hole, pull, and then you're going to layer the neighboring single hole onto the double, right? So you're going to go back from the back, or you layer it and then put it in there if you can't keep track of the steps. But my eyes are not what they used to be, my friends. So when you pull, you'll see that it'll layer over. See? You pull, it will layer over. And darn it, I pulled too far. Got out. So here. Careful when you're pulling. So I'm going to hold this tail. I don't want it to be that long. That right there. Okay, so now you have two holes, a single and a layered hole. So I'm going to go in through the single, pulling to make sure it's nice and tight, and then in through the layered hole. And again, it's hard for me to see once it's layered, but you gotta get it done. Pull, make sure it's nice and tight. Make your knot. So you see you have plenty of thread for both of them. Again, you just have to be careful with the cutting. Don't go crazy cutting those tails off really long, because you may not have enough. But you will. I got to put it in my mouth. Sorry if that grosses some of you out, but it's just the thread that I'm going to cut off. All right, so I can pull. Again, you can use some pliers. And pull. And cut. And cut. Now for the burning. I try to get them as close together as possible. Pull the petals back, and then the burning. And done. See that? Beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to put the second one through, because I feel like I won't have enough space to get it in there without destroying it. So that piece through, and then this piece. Come on. I have to create a little bit of a point to get it through. And then make a knot. Okay? You want the knot as close to the tip as possible, right? My other knot was a little far away. This one too, but still nonetheless fabulous. And you can pull this up as well so you can see what you're doing here. All right, so let's continue sewing. I'm going to finish this up. All right, so I'm going to tie off my last knot. I was almost going to cut it. I don't know why I am compelled to cut. It's easier to knot with your needle, for me at least. Double knot. Whoopsie. Double knot. Cut the tails off. Then we burn. Careful with this last burn because it's kind of hard not to burn everything up. Oh, crafting, crafting, crafting. Get over here. Kind of like to try to get them as close together as possible. There we go. That way I don't screw anything up. Beautiful. And there you have it. So now we're going to push that, pull that through. And now we have our 2 flowers. Look how pretty. Aren't those beautiful? And this is what I have left over for string. All right, so everything I cut off. And then here. Now we want to thread the green one. Okay, so for the green one, you'll have a lot more left over. All right, so let's do the green. Come on. Get in there. So I do that, and then I go, so here's my tail. I go right through the tail, about 1 inch in, without stabbing myself. Pierce. That way I can make a little knot, or hold it there. Now, you should have this and this left over, and of course this. All right? All right, guys. So now you're going to take your flower stem, and you're going to notice there's a series of holes in your leaf. Make sure that you're on the side that is not as textured, for me, for my preference, okay? So here you have a set of 2 holes. Here you have a set of 2 holes, and right in the center you have a set of 2 holes. So these are going horizontal and these are going vertical. So you want to match the horizontal holes to the stem that are also horizontal, and you're going to sew those together. So I can't match because I can't really see them. So I have to go first through the back, pull my string, then I go through that very first hole, or the matching one. And if you make a new hole, it's not a big deal. All right? Not a biggie. So pull it through. Make sure you leave enough string to make your knot, right? Like so. And then through the second hole, and then the second hole on the leaves. Like so. And you want it to be like this. Nice and tight. And do it one more time. All right, so I like to pull my string to the side and then insert or pierce right there. And I doubt that I got the same hole. I doubt it. And then over to the neighboring hole. And you can do it a 3rd time if you want to, but it's not necessary. Then make a knot here at the back side of it, nice and tight. You do not want those coming out. Double knot. Easy peasy. Cut. And you're going to burn. All right, so try to get those together if you can. If not, it's not the end of the world. You have to just burn twice. Beautiful. And there you have it. That's step 1. Step 2, you're going to go over and line it up with the leaf, leaf to leaf. You're going to see that you're going to have like a little loop, right? You need that loop. Now you're going to pinch these two together. These are the two that have 2 sets of holes that line up when you pinch them together. All right, so you're going to go in one hole. Then you're going to go in this to the other side against the hole, lining up the holes. Right? Pull. Definitely want these nice and tight. It's not going to really happen until you get the other side going. And then over to the other hole. Right? And then through the neighboring hole, or the hole that lines up. And I'm not pulling it tight so you can see it. So just hold on a minute. All right. So we start here, over, and then through here. And then both your tails are out. So you want to pinch, right, and pull so that they're nice and tight. See, so pinch that right there. You need that loop. Don't lose the loop. Pinch, pinch, pinch until they're nice and tight. You can go in with your first knot if you don't feel like your pinching is good. But I think I'm good, so I'm going to go in a second time. So through one, through both of them, pulling. That's when you'll see that they're nice and snug. See that? See that? They're nice and snug. And then over. Totally missed the hole on the other side. I've totally made a completely new hole. And again, you can do it a third time. You have plenty of string if you feel like you need to. I don't think I need it, so I'm just going to tie this off. Or thread, I should say. Pull. And double knot. Nice and tight. And guess what? Snip, snip, and burn. If you're uncomfortable with the burning, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be tight. You may want to use brads. You may want to do glue. But you should be fine. If I can do it, you can do it. I was very uncomfortable with the burning, as I expressed. Look at that, guys. How cute. How adorable. All right, so now we're going to work with this part, and then we have a little bit more sewing to do. I sewed on, there are no holes, but I sewed here and here because I kind of wanted this look here. But you don't have to do it. I wanted this to be more tidy, okay? All right, so let's do this. You're going to feed the string through the loop that you created, right? Loop it around. So I'm at about, I know you guys like measurements. So I looped it around and I'm at about 6 inches. I may change that. Well, let's go with 4 inches. 4 inches. Then this piece, so line up 4 inches. It's a little bit more than 4 inches. I'll give you a measurement at the end. Hold on. Then this piece, you're going to fold it in half. See this tail? Yeah, that's about the right measurement. So at about 4.5 inches. So loop it around down 4.5 inches. See that? And then what you have left here, you're going to make another loop. It's unruly, guys. Right, so you're going to make another loop. Stop it. All right, there we go. So loop it like this. See? Whatever's left over, loop it. And then come around and line it up with this loop. Just slightly below the loop that's attached to the flower, right? Slightly below. And then this piece that's attached to the long part, not this one, right? So you line it up 4.5 inches. Again, the remaining side, loop it around so it lines up there. Then grab this piece. So this is the piece we're going to be wrapping around. Okay, so remember, not this piece, not this tail, this tail. Loop it around. You want it nice and even so that it lines up with the loop up here and just slightly below. Slightly below. All right. So now you have two loose tails. One should be long. One should be that 4.5 inch tail. We don't want that one. We want the long one. All right. Pick it up. Don't forget the long tail. Keep it nice and tidy. Nice and tidy. Long tail. You're going to start wrapping. All right, so about 1 inch to 1.25 inches down, you're going to wrap. See that? Wrap up. So wrap around it. Nice and neat. Do not overlap your wrap. So wrap, 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 wrap. I think I want more than that. Sorry, not 1.25 inches down. Too much. So about 3/4 of an inch. So long tail. So see my finger is away about I would say that's 3/4 of an inch. Wrap, 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 wrap. I've got 4, 5 wraps. Okay. Now go around to the back of the wrap. Through, so you have 2 loops, right? So here's my finished wrap. There's my tail. See, it's undone. Go behind the loop, the big loop, the little loop. So I'm behind the big loop, the one that's attached to the flower, and then through that little one. Get over here. Stick it on there. Hold it, right? And then you're going to pull on the small one. Whoopsie. Hold on, which one I'm pulling on? Wrong. Got it. All right, so now you're going to pull on the short one. You're going to see where this piece tries to grab it. You see that? And it pulls it in. And then up. Don't pull too much because then you undo your knot. Just enough so that it hides it. All right, I'm going to show you again. Let me undo it. So it's all about the loop that's down here. Okay? Let me see if I can undo this. Of course I can. Easy peasy. So I'm undoing it. And I'm doing it with you again because I forgot which one I'm pulling on, so I want you to see. All right. All right, so now we looped it through the green portion of the flower, right? Through the loop in the green portion. We're going down about 4.5 inches. Doesn't have to be exact, okay? Please do not think it has to be exact. But I've got 4.5 inches. We've got 1 loop there, right? You're taking this side. I'm going this way because I like to work this way. This side, and you're going to match it up to this loop or to this tail. See that? Whoopsie. Then you're going to take this piece, bring it up. You don't have to twist or anything. Just bring it up and match loop to loop. You want to be slightly under, okay? Slightly under. And that's not, the measurement for that is not exact either. See, so slightly under. So the long tail, you're going to take and you are going to wrap it. So I'm going to hold my loops here because it's easier. I'm about 3/4 of an inch down from this section holding my loops. And I'm taking that big tail and I'm wrapping around. Boom, 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 boom. About 5 times. Enough so that you can take this tail to the back through both loops. First, the loop attached to the green, and then through the second loop. All right? Hold it there. Now this piece here, there's a side that you're going to be able to pull on that's going to pull this string tight. And am I doing it, finally doing it right? Let's see. Nope. So, oh, here you go. When you pull, you'll see that one side will pull the string. Will pull this tight. And it's going to tuck it into the knot. Okay, see as I pull? So just pull on any one you want until you start pulling on the right one. See? And it pulls the knot so that extra tail goes right into the knot. Don't hide it completely because then you're going to lose it. Then this piece will allow you to adjust. All right, so, I'm making it too tight. So see this piece here? So this will tighten the knot, right? And this piece, as you pull, you have to give it some slack, of course. This piece will make this loop adjustment here, whether you want this longer or shorter so you can cut it. See, because I cut mine, after I looped it, I cut my tail off and then I tucked it right in there. All right, so there you have it. Easy peasy. All right, you may have to replay this video, but it's very, very easy. So then this loop, I fed it through the hole and then the flower to do this. See that? Right there. And then I hid whatever tail. I think I cut it and then I just hid the tail in there and I glued it in there so that this tail wouldn't be hanging out because there was no reason for me to adjust it. So this is just for adjusting. Okay? That's it. Look at how fabulous that is. Oh, one last thing. So I'm going to go in through here, about 1/8 of an inch away from the corner, mid-leaf, okay, mid-leaf. I'm actually a little bit higher. See that? And then pull enough to make a knot, then right through the same section, you know, lining it up on the other side. And so I want to tighten it so that it kind of overlaps to create that rounded look. So I'm holding my tail. So I'm overlapping, right? And now just go through again. And you won't see it until you do the other side, okay? And I went through twice. Careful you don't stab yourself. And then I tied it. And I burned tails. One more time. Ooh, this one's a little short even for me. Uh-oh. I didn't leave my tail long enough, but I think I can do it because the needle helps me significantly work with my giant fingers. Please don't lose your tail. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so now I cut and cut and burn. Beautiful. Make sure these are in there. And then I do the same thing. So you got to kind of make this rounded thing like that, right? So to do that, somewhere in the middle, wherever you want it, right? About 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, you go through, leave a tail so you can tie. Make sure your stems are in there, and then go this way, the other one, approximately the same distance, right? Whoopsie. And when you tighten, curve it. Like, don't sew it like that together. You want to kind of overlap the holes one to the other, so you could get that rounded look. And now the kicker is, so I'm here, over here. So the second one usually does a trick, okay? That's when you tighten the whole thing. Okay, perfect. Through here. So I haven't tightened anything yet. I did both my knots, both my passes, and now I will tighten. 1, 2, perfect. And then, because this is my last one, I'm okay with leaving my tail super long for the knot. There. And this one, I'm going to burn on the outside because I can't get in there. So I'll get them as close as possible so I can burn them. And that's it. And we are done and done. Look at that. How cute. So we get this little dimensional thing here. And we're done. That is super cute. So enjoy. Remember, you can pick these up in my shop. If these become popular, I'll try to get them in other colors. They're super cute. They could be roses or tulips. I just love them. This is Kathy with Paper Phenomenon, and until next time.